Now, I don't know who agrees with this. If you didn't sin, dude, you would not die. I know, crazy. You don't buy that. Guys, if you're listening now, right now, he shook his head with the most evil Chicago disdain. He was like, what?
Come on. People at home were doing that, listening to that statement too.
No, that's not
true. Come on.
Die. Dude, you would not die.
So if
you wouldn't die.
So I wouldn't, this flesh vessel would not get any diseases or anything because it comes from sin.
Watch this.
Don't even go further than that.
Hello. This is why we're talking about rabbits. This is Uncle Seth finally back. It's been a number of weeks, months actually. Some of you thought that he had either fled the country for reasons of criminality, or he had quit, broken a glass, crushed a bottle, done something violent, and then walked out. But Seth is with us. None of those things happened. We just got sidetracked. I even went and saw him since he did his last podcast. So he's back. Uncle Seth, our resident nihilist. I don't think he's a nihilist, but he is a New Worlder. He scored very low on the New World Lightometer. He's with us today. We talk about a man named Jeremy and his institute for solving the human condition. We look at a little video. Together we try to figure out just how New World this guy Jeremy is. A very fascinating video. You've seen it floating around. Check it out. We've linked it. But more importantly than that, check out Uncle Seth. He helps us get to the root of the question about New World and Old on WAWTAR, brought to you by First Things Foundation. So you think we don't want to call it Jesus' birth?
No. You're always quick to remind us, the reason for the season, and it's so commercialized.
And you're saying I should embrace Jesus's birth as
that's right.
Phrase.
That part of it. That
I can do that.
Can you? Can Christicans do it?
Christicans do it.
No, because it's either that or they can't get enough Amazon gift cards. They get some LED lights in front of their house. That's the reason for the season.
Let's just start there for a second. You haven't been on in a while. You're coming on blazing on New Year's. Yeah.
Happy New Year's to everybody. 2023.
Uncle Seth is back.
Some
people were wondering, like, did our friendship break up because of I'm drilling home stuff that you're getting sick of? I was like, I don't think so.
No, I mean, I don't really.
You don't. You're like, I don't pay attention to what you're doing anyway.
Well, I'm not losing sleep over this podcast for sure. No, the holidays are a rough time. I saw you.
Yeah, it was good.
John came to Chicago.
Yeah, came to Chicago. We went out to lunch. Saw your people. You were having a big get together.
Yeah.
One of your cool like family get together things. How'd it go?
Mm-hmm. It was great. It's the only. That's the reason for the season in my book.
Family.
The family. That's it.
You don't do like. Are you? Like, what's your view on cultural appropriation? Are you trying to bring in some Indian stuff? Right, you throwing in some Hindu Christmas stuff?
We have a menorah. Which
you rock out the menorah?
Which every year we only light one or two candles and then forget.
Like you get tired. Like it's too much at that point.
Well, we just forget. We just forget to do it.
So like on the seventh
it's
day,
really sad.
You're looking over and you're like,
really sad. Yeah.
Is that existential for you? Do you go like, who am I at that point? And you go, who am I? Like, what am I doing?
Well, I don't know of that. I feel bad because I ripped off the kids. They should know about their culture,
Well, that's half of their right. Half their mom's Jewish.
That's right.
Do you rock some Hindu stuff around Christmas time? What's going on with that?
Just the dance moves. which I liberally use all throughout the year. No, it's like Diwali. We sometimes go to a party. This other Indian guy I know another Indian guy. In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In your swanky Chicago neighborhood, there's another Indian guy. Of course there is. And let me guess, he's well educated and works in a hospital.
That's cancellation right there. That's cancel fodder.
Am I canceled?
Yeah.
Let me guess another thing. There's not a lot of Krista cans. By the way, I just want to give credit where credit is due, everybody. However you're watching this podcast tonight on this holy day of the new year, which is not, I don't know, it's holy, but the holy day of Christmas time, Seth has coined 2 podcasts back the term Krista can.
I think it was a team effort.
It's a team effort.
That's something came out of this podcast that's lasting.
I think that could get into, which would be scary, mainstream news. Let's go over it for you. How are you defining a Christican in first day of 2023?
That hideous beast, the amalgamation of Americans or Christians with Americans, the Christians.
Christians?
Yeah.
Who are Americans, in particular, a type of brand. So I am
if you've never seen
an American, but I'm not a Christican. I am. Maybe I am.
No. I wouldn't say you're a Christican. I would say that I don't know who's listening to this, and if you're listening and you haven't heard me do these same points before, my main point is that Americanism built on the idea of independence, formed only for that goal. Independence is incompatible with Christianity. And so what in the last 200 years, this has really morphed into a sick thing that I think doesn't do the non-Christian Americans any good. Like, it doesn't make you guys look good, and it's leading to the destruction of what you deem important. And it's not atheists or new worlders that are doing this to you.
So the heartfelt believer in Jesus and Christ is not being served by the Christican movement.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah. And unfortunately for you, Americanism is the culture that is spreading and will in 10, 50, 100 years be the homogenous culture. That's it.
Okay.
It's squeezing out every other part. And that's why you see people identifying with traditional aspects, not just of religion, but of culture. It's on the out. I mean, it's dying out.
It's totally
slowly.
on the out.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a video. I'm going to show a clip because I think this is going to be helpful. Look at us. We're going to go high grade, upgrade tech. I'm going to share my screen to everybody who's listening just on the pod.
I don't know what he's going to show, by the way.
He doesn't know. I sent him this earlier to look at. It doesn't matter. This isn't.
I didn't look at it. So.
This isn't a got you thing. I promise. You're not going to be like, you got me. It's not like that.
All right.
Okay. Can you see it? You see?
Yeah.
You see this Australian. He looks like he could be a Christican, but he's Australian.
Yeah. Aussies have those people too. Sky News or whatever.
Oh, Sky News is a Christican operation.
Yeah. Christican, Aussie.
That's Fox News is Christican operation.
Yeah.
What do you do when you see CNN? You don't see Christicans.
Yeah, I mean, they are still Maybe they're just trying to pretend to be Christican or not to be Christians, but they are.
Oh, you think? Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
So here's this guy. Now, this is all over. This dude's all over the internet. So he's got dough, and he's got a movement called the Human Condition Movement. You just got to hear this because I think I want to know what you think, and then I want to talk about it. And he's got a interview going on here, and he's just said that the human condition problem, which is something like the problem of unhappiness or something, the problem of not being fulfilled, as he talks about. You can find this video, I'll link it. He says the problem of the human condition has just been solved. And then what you're going to hear is the interviewer hop on, and it's going to get hot. Let me just share my sound because our editor, Andrew, will kill me. Share computer sound. Ready for this, buddy? This is hot. This is high tech right now for Uncle Seth.
Solved. Okay, then, Jeremy, solve the human condition for us. We're all ears.
Can you hear that?
Yep.
Solve the human condition for us. So here goes Jeremy. And I can tell you more about this guy later, but just let's listen to him for a second.
Firstly, I'm a biologist, and that's important because I think everyone will agree that what we need is a non-abstract, non-mystical, completely rational and thus understandable scientific, biological explanation of us humans.
You hate that. You hate that sentence right there with a passion, with a deep passion.
First of all, thank goodness he's a biologist. Woo!
And I think we all can agree that's what we need.
Because it's a rational.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just love the way he starts out. But
non-mythical.
There is a hot one. Non-mythical. What there's some hot ones. I've lost them all now because I was just seeing red.
All right. Okay.
Here he goes. Here you go.
Okay. So how are we to explain and understand the human condition? Understand why we humans are the way we are. So brutally competitive, selfish and aggressive, that human life has become all but unbearable. In fact, how are we to make so much sense of our divisive behavior that the underlying cause of it is so completely explained and understood that, as Professor Poston said, the whole of the human race is psychologically rehabilitated and everyone's life is transformed?
Yes.
So does this interest you? Now, from where you're sitting, this is interesting.
Absolutely.
Oh, can we do a toast before we hear more from Jeremy?
Absolutely. Here's to everybody.
You do it. Ala Verde to you. You do it.
Ala Verde. Thank you. Here's to everybody that's listening. And here's to you, John, most of all. 2023, I think, is going to be great for everybody if you make it that.
Gagi Marjos.
Gagi Marjos.
I'm having just a touch of a nice rye bourbon.
Oh, nice.
You got a Heineken there or something?
Stella.
Can I ask you one question before we hear from Jeremy again?
Sure.
What'd you do last night? Did you go like full kid mode and you're like,
no,
they were pinning stuff on you?
90% of New Year's Eves, I'm asleep by 10 o'clock.
Before the new year comes in.
Absolutely.
What?
But every once in a while, I don't know. It's just like, I don't want to go out on New Year's Eve. And so once in a while, we'll have some people over. So last night we just invited a bunch of people over. So it was fun.
Oh, so you stayed up till midnight.
Yeah, I made it till midnight. In fact, at 12:30, we were jamming Iron Maiden albums.
At 12:30?
Yeah.
Guys, everyone listening.
The operative word is Iron Maiden. Run to the hill. 666, the number of the beast. No, that's not Maiden, man.
Oh, that's not Iron Maiden? I Am Iron Man is not Iron Maiden.
No. Sabbath.
Guys, everyone knows that Uncle Seth is a musician. Some of you saw him play. We were all excited about what your big story would be on New Year's. At least you didn't go to bed at 10. Jeez.
Yeah. No, I mean, why? Do you think I'm some party guy?
Well, That's
How
what
to compare to your
that's what
night?
we talk you up as on the show. Like that's the whole. Can you stick
Sorry,
to the
people.
persona, please?
Well, no, because that's amateur night. So I'm not doing it on amateur night.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
That means
what's amateur night?
Being out on a like a
Oh,
night,
I get it.
night before
right.
Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve,
I got
or we're just where you have a lot to lose and you have more to lose than other people who are out. You just want to be out with a bunch of amateurs.
I see. You're like a Tuesday night in March guy, killing it. Like
Right. I'm coming through on those nights. That's
special
well,
bar.
not even. I'm asleep most nights early. But if I like to see a lot of shows, so
Guess what song got on our playlist last night? Because we did throw a party at the restaurant.
What?
And HTP Lover. It made it on.
Great. Did you see people transfixed around the room? Put up a camera and play it. And I'd like to see what's happening.
I actually could send you some video. Don't believe Lover is on at the time, but I don't know if you'd be happy. Probably no one stopped during it being played.
Of course.
Did you want me to stop the party and say,
no,
this
is my buddy. Hilltop.
This is Hilltop. Hilltop, everybody.
Anybody that's in Chicago on the 20th, we're playing at Phyllis's, 8:00.
Phyllis's, 8:00, Chicago.
Yep.
Right on, Hilltop.
All right, let's
get back to Jeremy.
Yep.
So again, trying to explain about this human condition, how we can fix it. Here we go.
Yes, that's what we want. The human condition finally explained, fixed up and healed forever.
Exactly, Craig. So to start at the beginning, I know everyone listening is living with the belief, well, it's what we were all taught at school and are told in every documentary we watch, that humans' competitive, selfish and aggressive behaviour is due to us having savage, must reproduce our genes, instincts like other animals have.
Ooh, they're showing rams.
Certainly, while left-wing thinkers do claim we have some selfless cooperative instincts, they also say we have this selfish, competitive animal side, which Karl Marx limited to such basic needs as sex, food, shelter and clothing.
So you're showing fighting bears.
Our conversations are saturated with this belief, with comments like we're programmed by our genes to try to dominate others and be a winner in the battle of life. And
he sort of sets the groundwork here. So far, you're good. He's using this evolutionary chassis to try to. You're comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable. I think he's going to give us the way to solve the human condition. Is that okay? That's where we're going to probably.
That's what we're gonna do right now. Okay. All right. Hold on. Just so you know, you can become a supporter of First Things by advertising on our podcast. In the new year, which is now, we have 2 companies that are now advertising with us. Listen for their ads and join them. And join us, First Things Foundation. We go where we're invited. We build projects in participation with local impresarios, people who know what they're doing in some of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the world. Come on board. Help us create something beautiful so that we might leave something like a legacy of beauty in this world. Become a supporter at First Things Foundation. Back to Uncle Seth. So, yeah, you want to get to it. I want to get to the spot now where he's going to say, kind of, we don't have to be like animal aggressive using evolutionary theory. So let's see what he goes to. Now, remember, he's rational and he's a biologist.
I think that's what we all want.
That's important.
Which is the explanation I'd now like to present.
Okay, so what you're saying here, Jeremy, is that we don't need the convenient excuse anymore that we have some kind of savage animal instincts because we have the real explanation of our conscious mind-based, psychologically troubled human condition.
Go.
Yes, this key, all-important, psychosis addressing and solving explanation is actually very obvious. If we think about it, if an animal was to become fully conscious, like we humans became, then that animal's new self-managing, understanding-based conscious mind would surely have to challenge its pre-existing instinctive orientations to the world, wouldn't it? I mean, a battle would have to break out between the emerging conscious mind that operates from a basis of understanding cause and effect and the non-understanding instincts that have always controlled and dictated how that animal behaves.
Yep, that makes sense, Jeremy. So what happened, though, when this animal became conscious and its whole life turned into a psychologically distressed mess?
So the animal is us.
Right. And the fact that we evolved to be conscious of that, it complicates those basic drives and basic animal problems.
That's right.
Okay.
And he's going to say basically we got pitted against each other in our own mind. Freud, anyone? Let's hear what. It doesn't feel new to me so far, but let's see what he's saying, because he's rational.
Well, the easiest way to see what happened is to imagine the predicament faced by an animal whose life had always been controlled by its instincts suddenly developing a conscious mind. Because if we do that, we'll very quickly see how that animal would develop a psychologically troubled, competitive and aggressive condition like we suffer from.
Yeah.
So let's imagine a stork. We'll call him Adam. I mean, each summer, Adam instinctively migrates north with the...
You don't find that interesting? He's using the stork as Adam.
Yeah, I know.
These freaking guys,
Sorry. Why not?
So far, you're happy. These freaking guys.
Okay, yeah. And he's probably the next character is going to be Steve.
And what do we know about Adam and Steve?
All right, let's do it.
Oh, God.
The other storks around the coast of Africa to Europe to breed, as some varieties of storks do. Now, since he has no conscious mind, Adam Stork doesn't think about or question his behavior. He just follows what his instincts tell him to do. But what if we give Adam a large brain capable of conscious thought? He will start to think for himself.
Who gives him the brain? Again, it just whimsically develops, right?
Oh my God. Are we really going to do evolution podcast?
I want to know what you think about the whimsically developing large brain.
It's not whimsical. What's whimsical about it? I've asked you this before.
So it's a brain problem we're having. It got too big.
No, it's not. It's not. Well, yeah, the brain can cause problems. You disagree with that? I mean,
yeah, I do agree the brain can cause problems. Like the brain allowed this guy to make this video. Problem number one. Sorry.
And you're watching it.
Not only watching it, I'm spreading it further into the interwebs.
That's true. Because I was just thinking, man, I got to look this guy up.
You totally were. I know. This is actually the best thing ever. I just want to see what you think.
Well, listen. So the only problem you have with it so far is that he mentioned that thing about him whimsically getting a big brain. But do you disagree with what he's been saying?
No.
A conscious mind would complicate the life of somebody who was or an animal that was instinctual.
So this is cool.
What's wrong with that?
I'm glad you brought it up seriously, because you can see I just want to fire on the thing. So I'm trying throughout this to use, for better or worse, a template or a way of being called Orthodox Christianity. And there is a similarity to the narrative, the truth that we tell, is there is this thing in us that wants to move away from God, while in fact we should be moving toward God. And that thing, he's identifying a bifurcation too, like a two-way path. He is identifying something like a struggle within this evolving creature. So it's interesting to me. I get it. It's not like I didn't just break a bottle, throw a glass on the ground, but
no, I think that whatever problems he's saying that this leads to, which is aggressiveness and competition and whatever, I think you would just call it some sort of sin or away from God. But at the crux of it, there's a problem with the human condition that we both see. And
Okay,
this
but
might be a decent explanation for that.
we'll let it go. But before we
Okay.
do, a question I have for you, my semi-nihilist friend, who does not tell his daughters good night stories that are nihilistic. Like when you sleep.
So I'm a hypocrite nihilist.
Yes, 100%.
He wants me to be really dour and
but Daddy,
live it.
But Daddy, why would I be nice to that poor homeless man? Because of stuff. Whereas
you're telling your kids, Daddy, why should I be nice to that homeless man? Oh, because Jesus is watching you.
Oh, that was not.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible answer.
Yes.
No, because to do that is to be closer to God.
Well, that's the whole point. Is
you can't say that.
You are telling your children to be closer to God. But the Christicans are not. They're telling, and that's exactly a nice one example of Christicanism, which is it's built on this all-seeing God, this dictator, this authoritarianism. You always are railing against authoritarianism. You live in the biggest authoritarian regime there is. Thought, word, and deed. Thought, word, and deed. First of all, it's just not deed. You can't even think it. Thought
to all
crime.
The Christicans out there, First Things Foundation loves you, and there is a place for you under our tent, under the big tent. But can I just say something to you? Takes a village, and so these are all your little phrases.
It's a big tent. It's a big. No, listen. The right wingers they're trying to push this. Oh, we're a big tent party. Give me a break, man.
I'm going back to the stork story, but before I do, Can you please, as you watch this, just answer this question and be ready to, or have
Andrew,
something
as usual, cut out most of this stuff because people want to hear
this is hot. This is hot. No, this is the thing. We'll get back to Adam, the flying stork.
All right.
But listen, how does Adam know what's good or not? Like, how does good even get into when you're instinctual? You just eat, sex, sleep.
Well, here's what happens.
Where does good come from? I don't get it.
Here's I think where good comes from. A bunch of these other storks, Cain, Abel, all these characters.
Jacob the stork.
Right.
Esau.
Abraham. And then when Abraham doesn't, in my scenario, Abraham doesn't get bet by God to kill his kid. Who is the guy that killed
No, he didn't kill him, first of all.
I know, but he was going to, and that shows how pious he is. That is terrible. But that's another track.
You don't understand the story.
Enough of these storks.
Let's hear it from Adam.
Enough of these storks whimsically get brains. And so they decide, well, we're not going to be flying around like fools anymore. We're going to fly down and start a colony.
Yeah.
Okay. And over, at this point, let's just say 100,000 years of living in this stork commune.
Yep.
Certain ideas of good and bad have evolved.
Community ideals. Understood,
correct. Understood,
though not consciously understood. It's like in the water.
I think that we can go back to looking at the storks. What things worked in the stork world?
To do what? Worked to do what?
Worked to have a
better life, like more food.
A functioning continuity of that species.
Okay, so then in that sense, there is no good that's universal to all storks.
So a universal, no, I don't think
so. If you say there is no good universal, which I think you have to, you should also write a letter to the United Nations tonight. You should write it tonight because that's all they talk about. Let's hear from Adam.
Okay, fine.
because the universal good was what all you people appealed to during the pandemic. And I'm like, maybe that shit ain't so universal.
Okay. Yeah, we found out it's not universal. Believe me, I found out. I found out, and you found out. It is not universal. Well,
okay. Well, good point. Well, all right, let's hear.
I mean, but here's
more from
just
Jeremy.
But just one final thing is that you're acting as if that if it's not okay, just go on. I don't want to.
Well, just the good is complicated here, but anyway. So the stork's flying. He's
the
trying
good's
to
complicated, but there still becomes literal. There still becomes functional good in a society where I can still say this is good or this is not good. Just
and
because
it's pragmatic or utilitarian.
In this 100,000 years, we have found out that this is a good. In the next 100,000 years, maybe it changes. I know you hate relativism, but we gave this 100,000 years, and the good starts we gave it a shot.
Okay,
we gave it a shot.
Okay, I think you're describing a medieval atheism. We'll talk about it. Where it's just
I know, but
we're gonna fight
it's from
in your world. But all right, so we can fight. That's fine. Let's hear the stork. He's flying along. I think. Why does it always got to be Africa too? Can't the stork fly somewhere else? These people. All right, here we go.
But many of his new ideas will not be consistent with his instincts. For instance, while migrating north with the other storks, Adam notices an island full of apple trees. He then makes a conscious decision to divert from his migratory flight path and explore the island. I mean, this is his first grand experiment in self-management. But when Adam's instincts realize he has strayed off course, they're going to criticize his deprogrammed behavior and dogmatically try to pull him back onto his instinctive flight path, aren't they? In effect, they're going to condemn him as being bad. So imagine the turmoil Adam will experience. He can't go back to simply following his instincts. His instinctive orientations to the migratory flight path were acquired over thousands of generations of natural selection, but those orientations are not understandings. And since his conscious mind requires understanding, which it can only get through experimentation, inevitably a war will...
Oh. Did everybody hear that out there? His conscious mind, as opposed to his instinctual mind, which is all very interesting. His conscious mind, by just following his instincts now, can't get to meaning. To get to meaning, he can only get to meaning through experimentation. This is a religious principle of your world, Mr. Seth, Uncle Seth. You have to experiment, try it out through the experimentation. You find out what works best. Why does he think it can only get to meaning through experimentation? It's weird for me.
Well, I would say that that's the same for you. You're getting to meaning through experimentation, and that's why
experience.
Experience. So experience with religion, just the same way people have for many years before the Christians had religious fables, quite a lot with the same tenets of Christianity. So there's been an experimentation looking for meaning, and we've been as a species using religion, I believe.
Why can't it be through revelation?
Because
there's no God.
Why can't it be through revelation?
In other words, it's revealed to Adam the stork.
Because I don't believe that. That's why. I mean,
but if you rule out revelation, you might be right. But now, if it happens, you can't see it. In other words, you've self-contained the system, and now there could be all these revelations flying about within your scientific system, and you can't recognize them because you've pre-ruled them out.
Or there can be none, and your search for them has made them seem multiplous.
And we're delusion. We're in delusion or something.
Yeah.
Aha. So I do think we're into something. The atheistic tendency is a massive, massive, massive revolution in human activity, mindful activity, intellectual. The atheist revolution is massive because it literally does rule out stuff. My ancestors in the Christian tradition, 300s, they use science. Like they would go and build a bridge that fell down, and then they'd build another one and go, oh, look, we should put something like a bolt here. And then they built a better bridge.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. You're always bowing down to science when it's convenient.
I know we could do both though. This dude and you can't do both because you're ruling one out. I'm not sure why.
You want to know why I've not had any revelations?
Well, like why?
I think that's what you're saying.
Why couldn't it be that when you're walking down the street and you see a girl run by and she's running, she's running to my daughter, and there's like something beautiful there, and you go, oh, God has revealed the beauty of friendship to me. Why isn't that happening to you? Why do you
ask your God? Ask your God.
Well, you want him to be more explicit or something?
Well, no. I don't even mind. I don't even mind if he's that on the DL in his revelations. In the old days, he used to do parting waters tricks and snakes and stuff. Now, if he's doing that, okay, a breeze, you blew my daughter's hair. Thanks, God. You're there. But if he chooses to traffic in those type of revelations, at least say, hey,
you want him to knock harder on your head, on your noggin.
Yeah, he doesn't have to change the experience. He has to change it has to be a revelation. Who is it? Who's responsible for the revelation? Is my question. That's the question.
Okay, so we can use our language. The Holy Spirit is about, if you like that phrase. Like the Holy Spirit is about. The Spirit, the Comforter, is about. Like it's here in the room, and so I'm responsible to open my eyes because I'm given freedom. But I have to make my eyes able to see the proper way because I've been given freedom over time, and unfortunately, all my ancestors keep choosing this material reality, and so I lose the ability to use my eyes.
This is a terrible, seems like a terrible lot of effort to go through in a creation.
Well, what's the other way?
To care about then revealing yourself. The other way is muscle through.
No, hold on. What's the other? So what do you want God to do? Because there was this idea that God revealed himself in Christ, and there was the resurrection.
Yeah.
But you're not buying that one. So the
best thing he can come up with is something that his creation is not going to believe and is going to war over. That's the way he chose to love us.
Well, which is the one that would work?
And I know, because he wanted to give us free will. That's always your answer for that's why it's so complicated, or else, come on, man.
You don't like that one though. Why not?
I think it's ridiculous. So
why you don't like the free will thing? Why not?
I love the free will thing, but if he was going to do it, knowing that is an impediment to knowing him and bringing us all into the kingdom, that is truly a shitty thing to do.
Why? Because it's not like obvious enough or something. Is it possible
it's not even that it's not obvious enough. He's created a system now where the people are going to die off before people have the capacity to understand. That's the system he's created.
Okay, wait. This is super interesting. So you don't think you have? I'll speak for you.
Yeah.
You don't have the capacity to understand, or do you? Do you, because I fully believe when I go out here and hang out with my wife after our podcast, she believes that she and I have the capacity to see these beautiful revelations.
Capacity was the wrong word. He hasn't given the opportunity. Maybe it's not
like
exactly
that.
the
He
right
didn't
word.
give us the app on our phone. Like it's not easy enough or something.
Right. I want the one button. The Alexa. I want God on the Alexa type thing directly to perform for me. Alexa, put on some Earth, Wind, and Fire. God, give me make me
two revelations.
Reveal your existence by the breeze in my daughter's hair.
But are you sure? I like the way you said that. Are you sure that you're not the person? You sure you're not the one who is just saying no?
Yeah, that's right. So that's what you're saying. So
and
wait,
all the other people called atheists.
But listen, saying we've been around for 100,000 years as a creation of God, or how many years do you even believe?
Or 6,000. It depends if you're at one of those Kentucky.
You want to say 4,000. I know you want to say 4,000.
Yeah, you got to be at a Kentucky museum.
What do the Orthodox say about that?
There have been all kinds of revelations and saints talking about how old the Earth is, but there's no consensus.
What's an idea generally in the Orthodox tradition?
Well, they'll count back the generations, and so some people. But what the Orthodox don't do is count back the generations, try to add them up as if each generation was what we currently know to exist, and then put a timeline on it. You don't see that in Orthodox theology. They don't do that. But if you pin somebody down, they might give you that answer. What they're not going to give you is hundreds of millions of years based on rock data. They're not doing that. And if they do that, they should stop doing that. That's from WAWTAR. Don't do that. Sorry. Okay, I think this is instructive stuff because it does.
I'll just get back to this, and then let's watch Jeremy.
Okay.
God has created this the creation, all of the creation, animals, whatever, but he made us lords of it all. And he made us different, and he gave us souls, and he, imbued in us himself.
Yeah, that's right. Why do you say it like that? It's so crazy. By the way, there's a very red glowing cross behind your head. I don't know if you realize that. Please go back and watch this back, everyone, because that's crazy. But go ahead.
Okay, so he did that, and slowly the creation became more self-aware. And health evolved, intelligence, a capacity for understanding, science, capacity for talking about religion and worshiping, right? So he started us off here, and then maybe he guided us through this over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000 years. We're getting better, right? And all along the way.
I'll say no. I'll put a bookmark there, but no. But go ahead. Keep going.
Okay.
That's not correct in the Christian tradition, but go ahead.
Okay.
Can I say what is, or you want to keep going?
For sure. No, go for it.
No, it started at the top. There was complete understanding. Adam was one with God. Human beings had everything at their disposal. But they were not allowed.
When you see, if you go to the history museum and you see early Homo sapien bones, do you think that creature had, and I'm not even talking about where did that come from in terms of Adam or the creation. I'm just saying, did that creature, that person, that Homo sapien person, human, where was that person in that understanding of God?
I hopefully will help. If you are calling it a person, it was fully imbued with God's image, and they were what we would call enlightened. If they're a person, they're enlightened. The question is whether they stay within, quote, their enlightenment, whether they remain deified, whether they stay close to God.
Okay.
And that's the journey.
Okay, right. So he created this, the creatures, and gave them, they're all enlightened, one with God. And then after 98,000 years.
You keep doing the evolutionary fundamentals, but that's fine. That's fine.
I could say 10 years, whatever.
Yeah,
or
that's
just
cool.
amount of time.
After a lot of time. Okay. Yeah.
After a lot of time, he sent Jesus because the experiment was going awry. Right?
Because
the creatures had gone out of enlightenment as a rule. All of them pretty much had.
Yeah.
You know,
just imagine your two daughters, after many, many, many years, 20, just kept living in the crack den and would not leave. And then you and Allison went, we should make a visit.
I know. I want them to stay.
We should make a visit down to the crack den where they do a lot of crazy stuff and probably try to help.
They burn crosses.
Yes.
So
yes, there was a visit.
So check this out.
Sense.
So check it out. So he was sent to save us, right? Isn't that what it is?
To take on our nature, the hard part, the dying part, the dirty part.
Yeah, right. Because it's 98,000 years. He's seen what's happened, and it's just not working. Right.
Yes.
With his creation, with his creation, which the reason it's gone awry is that he's given free will, which has pushed us away from enlightenment.
Yeah, the ability or the difficulty of life, we laid layer upon layer because of our pride. Yes. And that happens in my own life. I see it daily in my own life.
Right. Okay. So he said, okay, enough of this. I'm sending Jesus to sort out, and to do exactly what Jeremy is doing, is looking for solving the human condition. Okay. And Jesus is going to be but
Jesus is God.
Answer.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
So you can't be like Jesus is a
God.
dude.
Right. Fine.
The God, the one that created you also came and said, okay.
Yeah. Right.
The fundamental problem is death.
It didn't go well.
Well,
it didn't go well.
It went.
And what I need to do is to get it back on track is to send a piece of myself in their form, to make them understand.
Incarnate, be carne, be meat with them.
Right.
Christmas, by the way,
and
the reason for the season.
Right. And
remember when you gave those gifts last week?
Oh, rats. Oh my God. I had a gift for you. I have a gift for you upstairs. I should have brought it on thing. It's
Ladies
a mug.
and gentlemen, what do you think Uncle Seth is giving me? That's terrifying.
All right. You know what I'll do is I'll just take a picture of it and send it to you.
Okay, cool. I got a gift for you too, by the way. So go ahead. We're equally bad.
So at any rate, he's the plan was, now we've got to solve this problem. So I'm going to send a piece of myself. We're going to make the people understand, or give them the opportunity of revelation.
Well, no, now this is where now you're into some Christican Orthodox stuff. If you still want to go there and not here, now you're going to get into it, the narrative that actually starts to break apart a little bit, because the Orthodox line is there's just one thing. Christ came to abolish death. You don't have to be afraid of that anymore. That part of your world is not relevant.
That's a fail. And actually, even adherents are still afraid of death.
Well, yeah, because our bodies are precious to us. We don't like
that's what I'm saying. So,
not working.
And so this is actually my point, is that 2,000 years after he sent or came to solve this condition that he created,
Right.
2,000 years. You want to
didn't
know
really create
why
the condition, but go ahead.
he
He didn't
Yeah,
create the
created
filth.
the creatures in the condition.
Yeah, like you created your daughter, and she's
Yes, okay,
not
right.
exactly doing everything she's supposed to do. I'm not saying she's
And
bad.
I take responsibility. I take responsibility.
You give her free
That's
will.
good.
I know you well.
I do, but I still give her take responsibility.
You take
responsibility,
but yeah, you take responsibility for the big picture, and that's
well, I didn't do. If she uses her free will to make bad decisions, then I probably didn't do all I could have done to help her use free will not to make bad decisions.
Wow. You sure? Because you sound like you're making your daughter into some sort of slave that's not listening. She's free,
listening. Man. No. Well,
she's not gonna just do like. You think if you had ratcheted up your parenting, then she would have been better? Man, that's
absolutely.
You're putting a lot on your parenting.
Hey, we all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Okay, when Uncle Seth starts quoting the Bible,
what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? All right, so let's wrap this up and let's get back to Jeremy. So he's solved the condition, and then 2,000 years later, he's solving the condition of the his experiment with people, which has gone awry. And now he has to step in and say, I messed up 98 or a long time ago. I let them go for this amount of time, but now I say we're going to do it. And he comes, and 2,000 years later, you're going to ask me if I'm open to revelation, which has not come. Is his first pre-Jesus experiment. We know how that went. And his post-Jesus experiment looks pretty crummy too, in terms of keeping people enlightened or getting them enlightened. So if the best he could do was send a piece of himself, and then it's up to me, and I'm supposed to be blown away and get these revelations, and 60-70% of the world doesn't get it, they don't believe in Jesus, then this was a pretty weak second pass at your creation.
Yeah, the entirety of that construct, you're basing it on a couple things. One is a linear understanding of history. It has a beginning and end, and it runs straight through. And that linear thing is happening like over there. But the way this is understood mystically and through in the church, in the East anyway, is these are all symbols and icons and images of reality. In other words, in your day, probably today, we could see that there was a walk away that led to a type of pain. And then if you don't face up to the pain, the death, you can't become resurrected. And then facing up to the pain.
That's what it comes. That's actually what I'd like to ask you about.
So
because
all these things aren't happening like far away on a linear level. They're all happening every day in your own life.
Okay.
And
great. But here's
that story is an image of the reality of every day.
Okay. Right. So in other words, if I face the reality of death, and that's why he's come, is to take me away from death, that my death won't be the end of my soul's experience. But what is linear, but here's what's linear is this creation of ours is linear.
This
that
body.
part of it. Yeah. And so what's going to happen is that part of the experiment is going to war out and destroy itself before, and whoever, I guess, I mean, we're all going to make it because he's already died for all of our sins. I don't have to accept him or not accept him. Right. Well, he's already died for me.
Right. But you're touching on something. It's going to happen before we can fully understand. Maybe, but it's going to happen to each of us differently. We're all going to enter into illumination and deification in different ways.
When?
And it's happened to you already. The kind of person you are before you started to love,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I
commit
understand
to
that.
your wife and to your daughters is a very different kind of person. You've already been remade and refashioned.
Absolutely. I am a new person because of
it's happening
my
all the time
experience.
to you, but you
Sure.
had to crucify yourself and your desires. And so the whole point of life is that you're living in the revelation daily, but you won't call it that. And so what happens
But-
is you use the scientific template. Dude, your whole conversation right now is evolutionary. It's all based on evolution. See, this is one of the things that I think I got to talk about this more.
But
evolution is evil.
I don't think we've ever had a discussion about
evil.
That. I mean, I know you think that, but listen, you can't deny that side of our existence. The corporeal side is that we were born. Our DNA was passed along. There's that. So that's part of this experiment that is his creation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it's not going to work because he gave us free will. We will use that free will, as this guy said, to destroy ourselves. You know what species of, we've been on this planet for a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
We've been so if what happens is that's going to be the end of that experiment, and we're still going to have our maybe we're now one with God or whatever after that, right?
No, you can become one with God now.
Okay, fine. But either way, I've got 20 years left to live. I'm making it one way. I'm not going to make it now, probably.
Okay, yeah. So can I just say one thing about that?
Sure.
You can become more oneer. You can become one-er with God. So, but if you're trying to say you and I are never going to be one with God while in this flesh, I would agree with you.
Okay, right.
That's why we die.
Good. That's right. And so
the great saints die. Everybody dies.
Only thing we have going for us right now is the time we have here. I mean, only we have going for us, like bodily, physically, is the time we have here.
Yeah. Yeah. But time again is a bit of an illusion, but we can get into that. It's not easy to explain, but.
Well, I'm talking about the rise. You're a history teacher. I'm talking about the rise and fall of empires and species on this planet.
There's a whole spiritual history. Yeah. I agree with you.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying the spiritual history is not, if there's nobody left, no human species left on this planet, that's the end of that part of God's experiment, correct?
So I was reading about this.
That part of his creation.
This is my answer to that. There can't be, and I was doing I did a podcast, thinking about this. If let's just say, using the evolutionary concept and using sort of the mathematical rational approach, let's say that what we call humans all die tomorrow. I don't know how. Seems like a lot of people think that's gonna happen. Can we make another movie about that? That'd be fun. Let's do another one about that. So if that happens, this is the orthodox position, at least as I understand it. There won't be a world because the world is manifest through our existence. What you call the world, the rocks and the birds and the bees, cannot exist without us.
Okay.
It won't happen.
Okay.
Because the world was made for us. And so what I'm trying to say is we are the telos of what you call the world. That's why God has given us the garden. God doesn't make a garden and then go, no humans, because we are of God in a way that the animals are not.
So everything is about us and the creation of us.
Everything is it. So that's what we call salvation. It's like spiritual history, salvation history.
Yeah.
There's a whole nother timeline going on that looks more like a Helios.
But I'd like to know
spiral.
I'm just asking you, what do you think is our inevitable history as a creature.
Right. So as a creature, my inevitable history is to live on this earth, come to various revelations, or a better way to say it is be taught through the tradition of wisdom. And I believe, I'm not saying all traditions are equal, but where humans are trying to make sense of their world, they're coming up with these traditions that try to inform the children, prepare your soul. They're all doing it. Even you're doing it. Even you're doing it. Yours is utilitarian. Prepare your soul, Avra, to keep good books so that you know how much money you have so you can save. Prepare.
Sure, I agree.
Whatever yours is, I'm making fun of you. And then what happens is all those variations on prepare yourself lead us to become something like closer to God during what you call our life, or we move further away. We become more and more disintegrated, unhappy, diabolos, broken apart. We don't have good relationships, or we move closer and closer to something called symbolos, or beauty. But we still die. And in the death, what happens is all of this becomes, how should we say, unified in one moment of resurrection, where all of us, me and you, go, holy smokes, and we are asked to account for what we tried to do in this world. Okay. And I'm not saying fire. I'm not doing that. I don't know how that all works, but I just want to die, being able to say, when my buddy Seth had good questions, I cared about him enough to sit and hang out. Or when my buddy Seth's daughter was sick, I was there.
Yeah. And that's exactly what the New Worlders want to say too. But the only difference is you believe it came from, that desire came from somebody, the creator, and I don't. Yeah. But you still didn't answer my question. Okay. What happens to our species, humans?
Okay.
What is inevitably
that's the
going
question.
to happen? Not just what happens to you. I know you're going to have revelations and die.
So like what happens, in other words, using
this part
again,
of the experiment,
like
this part
Lamarckian
of the experiment,
like early biology, the word species. Okay, I'll use it. I'll use it. No problem. Because see, you're already making me.
Are you going to say?
Yes, I am going to question all of your New World assumptions. Not that I'm not New World, but when you say species, what you're doing is you're like, and then all of a sudden, like our species has to get better. Like talk clean. Be better, be strong, bonobo ape. I'm not doing that, man. So if you want to call us a species, I'll say.
No, listen. What do you call God's creation? Us, that part of it. What do you call us? Humans or
souls?
Souls. Okay. Yeah, but souls is, but there's a flesh vessel.
Okay.
Isn't there?
Yeah. That's your garment of skin. That's your garment of skin.
Yes, garment of skin, electrical meat bag.
Yeah, that electrical meat bag was given to protect you from this shitty ass world called the fallen world.
Exactly. Right. And tell me what happens to that group of meat bags. Do you think we're going to keep reproducing forever and ever, and it's going to be?
I would say this, and again, I'm not well versed in this. I am by no means a seer. So you're asking me to do hard stuff, but I'll just say this. We head towards something like trying to control and most of all, rule ourselves as if there was no God. We get closer and closer to being our own gods. That's why there's going to be a movement in your lifetime, and your daughters will be a part of it. So will mine, to not die. Like, take these pills and freeze yourself, or there's going to be DNA revelations that tell people they can live forever. That's the next horizon, because we want to be in charge of ourselves and run ourselves and own ourselves.
That was part of the solving the condition, is to come to make me not afraid of death, so that then also reveal to me later that I should come up with things to fight death.
No. We're doing that. We're doing that because we are not one with God. If we were one with God,
that we're going to try to still trying to fight death.
Correct.
Even though he told us he saved us from.
Right. So, okay, now this is the part. Oh, Lord, this is too hard. We wouldn't die if we didn't sin. Check this out. Now, I don't know who agrees with this. If you didn't sin, dude, you would not die. I know, crazy. You don't buy that. Guys, if you saw, if you're listening now, right now, he shook his head with the most evil Chicago disdain. He was like, what? Get the
Come on. People at home were doing that, listening to that statement too.
No, that's not
Come
true.
on.
That
Come on.
Die. Dude, you would not die.
So if
you wouldn't die.
So I wouldn't, this flesh vessel would not get any diseases or anything because it comes from sin.
Watch this.
Don't even go further than that.
None of us would die.
Okay. So listen, but you keep answer my question then.
Now,
listen.
Okay.
So
I
listen,
know because I won't.
But we're all sinners.
Not playing your science game. I'm not playing you and Jeremy's game. Jeremy's gone, by the way. We're done with Jeremy. We're almost finished. People are going to turn us off.
Sorry, people.
Soon.
I'm sorry, people.
No, it's good. We'll come back to Jeremy next time.
Well,
because he goes on and on about that stork, you know.
I know. I want to get more into the stork.
Okay, how about this? We'll make it a two-parter. We'll come back and we'll talk. Because I'm being told by my editors I talk too much and that we're the worst. We go on and on the most.
Of course.
But we already know what we're going to do now. So you don't have to be, because guys, he's super good at like, well, let's go over an agenda about what we're going to talk about. Because he has to. That's how he rolls.
No, it's not agendas. I just like topics. So I don't like coming on where it's just
well, I scared you with Jeremy. But
you
did good with Jeremy. You did good with Jeremy.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But I mean, I think
by the way, check out that video, guys. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Actually, don't check it out. It's
so,
a really.
But John, can you just
go ahead? All right,
answer? Please answer these questions. You keep going to.
Lord. All right, go ahead. I'll try. Not too many more though.
We're okay.
How come I'm the one? I thought I'm supposed to question you.
Okay, fine, but because I'm trying to elicit some responses that I could. Okay. If we didn't sin, we wouldn't die. But as we all know, we're all born sinners, and so we are really.
That's the human condition. That's the human condition. That's the thing being solved for.
Right. So he came, and the solving was to make us not sin, so that we wouldn't free us from death. Okay. But knowing that we are all sinners, I would like to know and I don't know why you can't say this. And
I love how you are earnest, dude. I will give you that. You're like, I just want to know.
No, I just want to know. Just tell me this.
I know.
Here's what I'm saying. What happens to all of his creation when we're sinners? So we're going to die. So what happens to that creation as a totality?
Oh, that's awesome. There's a old African Methodist hymn, like, there's going to be the great getting up. And so all of the world is reconstituted. It's all brought back into perfect symbolos. In other words, there is a great moment when the world as it should be is I don't want to say reborn, but resurrected. It's remembered. It's membered again and put together. And that's coming. But don't think like a linear, it's coming in our every moment. It's coming when I embrace after I've struggled with my wife and we fought. In the embrace, we are renewed. And that moment will happen for all of creation, for a leopard and for a blade of grass and for a river. It's all going to be renewed. Yeah, okay. I believe that.
So, and I'll be there, right? I'll be there along with you.
100%. Now, here's the tricky part.
Okay, great. What's going to be the difference in classes at this place? The people who struggled their life to understand and to work to get closer to God, are they in a better position somehow when this remembering?
You can hear me breathing heavily.
I know.
So there's a couple ways.
Are these
in my tradition, in the Orthodox East? The best answer is I don't know, man. I don't know what all of that looks like, I don't know that you're not, quote, saved and brought into this perfection. I don't see how you couldn't be, but I don't claim.
Me though. You told me that that Jesus died for me.
For everybody. What. It's already done.
For everyone. Yeah, it's done. Yeah.
It's done. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of what there are, it's Book of Revelation, but there's also all kinds of writings, scripture, and there's all kinds of saints who say all kinds of things. They all add to this. Fallen man can't tell what's going to happen to fallen man, but what they can say is what God is promised. And there's beauty at the end of this. But for whom? I'll say this, for the proud, you might just keep saying no. I don't know if you're one of those people. Then you keep living in this world of death, because you won't die. You are in eternity. You are a cosmos unto yourself. You'll just keep being no. And no is what leads to diabolos and breakdown and disintegration. And you see it. I know you see it. You see it with your students. The ones who are like, I don't need to listen to that. I don't care about that. When you're actually trying to be good to them, the no destroys them. And so if you keep saying no, you'll live in the no. And the no is diabolos. And when people are hearing that word, I don't want them to hear diabolo, devil. They're hearing diabolos, the Greek for disintegration or division, which is the word for diablo in Latin and Spanish for the devil. What I'm trying to say is the no gets you closer and closer to destruction. Saying yes to the Creator, just like the loving Father, dude. There's no way you have all the right answers to your daughters, but you trying. And when they say, Papa, tell me, help me, show me, that's good for them. That's good for them. It's not, they don't want to be knowing the Father. Too many no's is going to get you in trouble. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if that helps. That's some really cheap right there. It's the best I got.
Yeah, that orthodoxy ain't
I got
exactly
a baseball hat.
from
I got a brewer hat on.
Yeah, right, that's right.
Dude, I got a glove on my head. I got a little baby glove on my head. I mean, come on.
That does not convey.
Right now, some dude is watching this going,
ethos is
my ethos is not
weak.
orthodox.
No.
That's a shot across the bow, honestly, with all you guys who love my brother. I love him too. But I have a Brewer hat on.
It's a real shot against Brewers fans. Are you saying?
That's exactly what it is. Brewer fans all just got sorry.
Hey, every Brewer fan on this has just lost you. No more subscriptions.
They're like, no way. Eh? Come on, Brewers are good, eh? Come on, man. Our team's gonna be great, eh? Like, come on, seriously. I got a Brewer hat on, Seth, but at the same time, this is good stuff. What I liked about you when we talked together is you would go down this road. You know how many schools light their hair on fire and run out of the building once this conversation comes up? Why are schools like that in our country? Principals are like,
you know why? It's the C word. It's the C word.
There's a lot of C words. Christicans. Oh, I see. You're saying it's a reaction against it.
Of course. That's exactly what it is.
I don't think you're totally wrong about that.
Do you? Yeah, not at all. Do you think the people want us discussing the stuff we do, or we used to when we could, No,
I would get hell from two ends of the room. I would get hell from very progressive, whatever, atheistic administrators, and I would get hell from very Christican, what you're calling Christican, traditional Protestant mothers who would be like, what are you doing in there? Those were the two people that got me the most hell whenever I would get into philosophy with, sophomores and juniors and seniors. The progressive administrators were irritated, and the Bible banging mothers. Woof, they didn't like it. People like you, you're okay. Don't you have those progressive administrators in your school? They'll come at you too, dude. You're just on the list. By the way, you do not fly the flag. They are putting you on the train. You're going on the train. choo choo. I'll be like, Seth, hey, we're on the same train, buddy. Where are we going? You'll be like, I know where we're going.
All right. And you'll be saying, we're going to a better place. You keep trying to convince yourself
like,
this is just all his
no.
plan. All is in his plan. This is all his plan. And I'm like, this plan sucks.
You'll be rattling the cage. Get me the out of here.
And you'll be saying, just trust.
And you know who's going to be waving at us and put us on the train? Our daughters. You guys shouldn't have said those words. Now you have to go. I'm kidding. To my daughters, it's not them most of the time. Let's stop it. This is hot. I think the video is part 2. It's you didn't.
Okay.
By the way, every time I like it, guys, Seth always looks like, this is stupid.
I don't know, and that's why I just like it when we kind of know what we're going to talk about.
By the way, that was hot. That Jeremy helped us. Much love to Jeremy.
Yeah.
His video.
I like Jeremy. Come on.
Can I just ask you one thing? Do you just wish God would just take over? Like, do you wish like the Pope was actually God and he just told everybody what to do? I don't think he would like that.
Let me put it this way. What has God lost by doing a mass revelation, even to people who are fighting against it?
What does he lose?
Yes. Or what do we lose?
Well, dude, I know you don't like it. It's just
What do we
God
lose
is free, therefore we are free. Because we are like God in his image, we are free. So God's not going to do anything to impede upon the nature of his creation. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. You're not going to mar the Raman
He's just
in your
going
kids.
he's just going to hope that I become open to revelation.
Yeah, man, why not? What's wrong with that?
And he's going to try to drop bird crumbs for me.
Dude, when you go to sleep tonight, just do me a favor, turn off all your little devices and just in the dark, just lay and listen to your own breath and ask one question. Where the F did that come from? Dude, it's happening every moment, the revelation. It's not dropping breadcrumbs.
Okay,
you're breathing, dude. You're breathing.
Right.
You're alive. You're an alive person.
Yeah.
Watch. You're alive, dude.
I know, but
That's a party. Let's have a party.
So is my dog. So is my dog, but my dog's not doesn't have a conscious mind to
But you
know that.
We have to get back to the stork story because you actually are pissed off at you. You just wish you were instinctual. But man, if you were instinctual, then imagine the dog trainer of you. They would have you jumping around, doing stuff. You would just be my dog. You'd be like, what's the problem, guys? Look at us.
2, 3, 4.
By the way, Nazi Germany. That's right. We don't want that, dude. With chick chock. Come on, man. I thought you were, you used to be liberal. What happened to you?
Is chick chock the same as having Jesus when he was doing these miracles at the wedding? Okay, so listen.
No, you got to look at those all. I don't want to get into it right now because these people will start hanging up on us.
Okay.
Can you make a pledge? Because I've had many little texts and emails like, is Seth, did he quit? Will you just make a pledge that when you can, you will always be on the podcast?
Why don't, for sure. Let's try sometime in February.
Right. Let's go about, we were on a schedule of about 6 weeks for a while.
Something around the 14th, New World version of love.
Valentine's
idea of love.
Day.
Yes.
All right, guys, we love you. Thank you for being a part of our podcast.
Peace, everybody. Thank you.
We didn't take any commercials. I'll cut some. There it is. Until next time, guys, we love you. This is John at First Things Foundation, www.first-things.org, where you should go and check us out and support our work. And we love you. Naquam au revoir. Until jusqu'à la prochaine fois. See you later.